Welcome to the NYXUS podcast. You guys can hear it. This is horrible. You won't have to hear me too much though, because I brought in Rob Olkoff, my good friend from Renewing Music Studio, to co-host with me tonight. Thank you, Rob, for joining me. Tonight we get MJ from Moonlight Mushroom.
Hello, hello. Good to be here.
Hey, good to have you. Quick introduction for the band members that are not here, and we, of course, are live, so we are gonna get the chat going at one
Sure.
point, hopefully. So we'll be interacting with them too.
Cool, cool. So the band members that aren't here today are Sean and Nikki. Nikki spins the music that I produce as a DJ, and then Sean's complementing it with synthesizers over it. And I'm on the drums, kind of playing like I like to say Danny Carey style, but more like Josh Freeze.
Mm.
So, and it's a good mixture. We're able to bring the live drums with it, and it really adds the energy to Moonlit Mushroom.
Very cool. I have to ask,
Mhm.
Moonlit Mushroom, how did the band name come up?
It was my very first band member, the co-founder, I guess you could say, of the band. He just came up to me one day and said, "What do you think of Moonlit Mushroom?" And I said, "I like it. Where did you think of that?" And he was thinking more of the Moonlit Sonata and Mushroom, just psychedelic, you know. So a psychedelic Moonlit Sonata kind of.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
That is
Rob.
really cool. So yeah, one of the interesting things about that is when I think about like band names like that, I play more in like the rock and metal world, so I'm very much like there's sometimes an artist that has like outside influence of that get they pull influence in. There's a band actually when I was listening to one of your songs, really liked it. I'm gonna butcher the name.
Sure.
But Melanie could probably help me. She sent it to me just to, for me to like absorb into it and get into it.
Yep.
Um, one of the things that you were talking, you just mentioned Danny Carey, which,
Yep.
Anyone who knows who Danny Carey is, that's a conversation itself.
Right.
But one of
Right.
the things I thought about is, you ever heard of a band called The Contortionist?
It sounds very familiar, actually. Yes.
Okay, so they're kind of in the prog realm, prog rock, prog metal. And when I think about like the name and kind of how you brought it into it, and some of the stuff, like they have a reimagined album where it's like kind of the same atmospheric stuff that you bring into Moonlit Mushroom. And I think about like they literally said they would go to the mountains and get kind of play around with some stuff. You get what I mean? And then get
Mhm.
inspired to create music that way. So they would like that would be their influence. So that's what I thought of when like the name and just it's something about when people can kind of separate themselves and experience what they're creating versus like in a vacuum create like I'm in here in front of the guitar, I'm playing guitar part, I recorded, it's done. Like listening to the song, like it makes sense to me, but we'll get into it later how
Sure.
like you produced it, but you're also the drummer, which
Yeah.
we can get to that later. But
Yep. Yep.
I think like people should totally like if anyone's in the chat that's gonna get into some music, get into like how people think about it and how they create it, like getting into how people create music and express it. Cause like I was watching the video and I'm going to get a little nerdy about like the stuff you use live. And it's like,
Mhm.
you got sort of that analog feel, like kind of like a Trent Reznor kind of vibe where you,
Exactly.
thank you. Okay. I'm glad I picked that up.
Right. Nine Inch Nails is probably one of my biggest influences.
So I like when bands do stuff like that. I listened to a band like Pelican, and that was kind of like that too.
Mhm.
Pelican, when they have those moments where they sort of just go off and do like experience the music and kind of allow whatever moment run its course versus a lot
Right.
of rock and metal is pretty much in a grid.
Yep. 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 Very cool. Very cool.
We can get
So
really nerdy here.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
before you guys get too nerdy, let's say hi to Geo, Anger Overdose, Cat.
Hey.
Sarah's here. Quick, guys, if you are around, I don't know the location exactly. Look at my page. Cat has lost her puppy, So if you guys can go to my page and share her posts, we never know who could see it. We never know if we could bring back the puppy. The family would be happy. Also, I want to say congratulations to Sepsis. Sepsis has won for in New Hampshire, I think. Geo probably knows, so Geo will correct me if I'm wrong. They have won an award last night, so congratulations, guys.
Very nice.
That's awesome.
What's up, Mick? Thank you very much. Um, Shared it. Virginia area, yes, that's for Cat's dog. So yes, sorry about that, guys. Little
Sure. Yeah.
side note. Since we're live, I always like to.
Oh, it's cool. It's cool.
What got you all started? Like, what gave you the why this genre?
I guess, like I said, Nine Inch Nails has always been a huge influence. Radiohead, a French band called Air. You ever heard of Air?
I heard a little bit of it.
Yeah. I just all those influences, and I started playing the drums at first, but I really wanted to get into everything, so I play a little bit of everything, whether it's guitar, bass, synth. Sing a little bit too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very
And as you can see, I own my own producing studio too, right here. Moonlight Audio Productions is what it's called.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting really good mixes out of here. Really nailed it on the acoustics.
See, that takes so much work. That's a lifelong journey, isn't it?
Yeah. And also these speakers right here, the Barefoot footprints.
Okay.
The monitors are great.
Okay.
They don't lie to you. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, they're pretty flat then, basically. Yeah, because I just got some Adam A7s.
Oh, those are good too.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a pretty penny. I started out on the HS5s and then went to the HS8s.
Oh
and
yeah.
I was like, I'm about to pay double. But yeah, I know that I have a couple friends in Northern Virginia where I'm in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And they just got some Barefoots. I have to ask him which one he copped one.
Yeah, I got the very first model, and at the time, I believe the price tag was $4,500. Yeah, but they got this cool. It's called meme technology. They call it, and you can switch the monitor to turn into a Yamaha NS10.
Oh, okay.
And you can also. It has 4 modes. It's got here. Let me actually look at it real quick. It's got a hi-fi mode, which really makes it sound like a smiley face.
Oh, okay.
And then
scoop the mids, right?
Yep, it's got flat mode, which is what I usually leave it on. But old school mode is the NS10s.
Okay, nice.
And
that means there's a lot of low end response then.
Yeah, and actually they have both the speakers have the bass on the sides.
Okay.
And it's almost like they cancel each other out because they don't really, go in and out. They're just very true to the bass.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm a super gear nerd when it comes to audio stuff. I got a degree back in 2009 as an audio specialist.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What area? Was it like a special like institute?
Yeah, it was a trade school, Hennepin Tech in Eden Prairie here in Minnesota.
Okay.
They offer a great program to get an associate's degree. I think it only costs about $20,000 these days. So it's
Gio
not
said,
bad.
sounds about right. Didn't even blink at the price.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But yeah, ever since I got these monitors, I don't know if I'll ever use another monitor again. I don't know.
I wouldn't imagine you'd want to. I mean,
No.
I think certain speakers, like it's really all about like how do you get used to something, right?
It took me, at first I thought I knew them, but as my mixes went on, I really got to know those monitors like a year later. And after really sitting and listening to, Sad pop in a Nine Inch Nails album, listen to the whole thing, and really just know how these monitors work.
That's going to make me wonder if like what Trent Reznor to mix because obviously you obviously as a fan the story.
Yeah. Yep.
So, he basically mixed everything himself with, him being a producer, and just, I could only imagine he probably nerded out on how he made his music, and everything was an experiment to create what is Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah, and yeah, he's also a really smart dude too. So I'm sure he had no problem picking that up.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Gio said if it carries a solid flat, it's a keeper.
it's solid flat. Yeah, like I said, I keep it on flat mode. But if I really want to check the lows and the highs and the mix overall, I'll turn it to NS10 mode and just really just get listen to the mix. And from my understanding, if you can still feel and hear the bass, even though it's not quite there in NS10 mode, you're in the right track.
Yeah, mean it's better to feel than hear the bass, isn't it?
Yep.
Especially with your music, with you essentially are very like metal is super kind of like brick wall, because you could go as low as 30. I'm getting really nerdy in here.
Yeah,
low as 30, and then as high as like anything above 16K is a little harsh, but
sure,
that's still a lot.
Yeah.
So like, but if you've got a lot of synthesizers and those kind of effects, you're very much like, would you say like 2 to 5, 2 to 7?
Yeah, it's all over the place. Some of those tracks have like 20 different synths going on each other. And honestly, after actually this, I just released this album. It's on Spotify and stuff, but
awesome.
I will never make an album like that again. Like trying to mix 20 synths in one song it's a nightmare. A lot of frequencies clashing. You really got to get into the mix and see what's working and what's not. And somehow I made it work, but I told myself for future music I'm going to keep it more simpler, still diving in, pretty deep, like atmospheric wise and stuff, but I'm going to try and keep it, under like try to keep it around 10 to 5 cents a song or something.
Yeah, Gio just said, "Don't know if I should be proud or ashamed that I understood."
I mean, listen to the album. It's on Spotify. You'll hear it yourself.
What's the name of the album again?
Dreaming Lucid.
Dreaming Lucid.
Yeah,
that sounds amazing. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna listen to Filler later.
Cool.
We have sorry, my dog.
Oh, that's cool.
My dog's going crazy. We have Filler and Midriasis.
Yes.
That's the one I heard. I love that one.
That's one of my favorites. It really just came together real nicely, and bringing the live drums on that is awesome. I've got a couple of videos on YouTube. I believe one of them I'm performing that song live. And it's
Anger said mixing ain't easy. No, it's not easy. MJ, what would you say? How would you define success as an artist?
Oh, success as an artist. As long as you're still having fun. If you're not having fun anymore, what's the point? That's success.
I agree.
Fame and money, no, that ain't success. Obviously, you want to get your music out there, but it's a weird industry.
Gio said, listen today and loved it. I could hear some of the influences, maybe think of a couple sci-fi soundtracks.
Definitely. I'm a huge movie, sci-fi, horror film, whatever, and the music. That's also a big inspiration is video games too.
Speaking of horror, sci-fi, Saturday, 7 p.m. on the NYXUS podcast, we have our monthly edition of movie nights with the Hathaway House of Horror and Keith from Nightfall. And this month is sci-fi horror.
Cool.
So it's gonna be Alien. I don't remember. Sorry, guys.
Sure.
They're gonna roll their eyes at me like, oh fuck, she forgot the movies again.
Well, Alien, that's a good one.
It is. To kind of jump off of what Melanie mentioned, like being the horror sci-fi. When you're creating the music, and hello, Sarah. When you're creating the music that you create, like how much of it do you think there's a balance between like your inspiration from like things like scores, soundtracks versus like experimentation? Like, is there a balance, or is there like one leans toward the other in your
I
creative process?
I guess it all depends on how things are going. When I start laying down tracks, it's all experimental at first until I can actually structure out a song. That filler song that we'll take a check out. I named it filler because I needed a filler track for the album. It was the last song I wrote for the album, but you're gonna hear it has very Silent Hill vibes to it.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
that's cool.
yeah.
I'm definitely going to have to revisit Silent Hill after listening to it then.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, you'll it's just this sample. I forgot how I made the sample, but it just says Silent Hill all over it.
That seems like it makes sense. I guess I'll just ask one quick thing. I guess I don't know if Melanie's getting the song ready. Now, like I saw the video. I'm not going to be able to say the name correctly, but it's the one starts with an M. So forgive me. I'm gonna I struggle with I don't
Sure.
want to, but I'll say that song. I was watching like you perform it, and then just seeing like the thing that's interesting is how the people that are performing on the side with all the synthesizers. Like
Mhm.
now, obviously these days there's things like Splice and Contact and all that stuff with creation. How much are you? Yes, this video is the one
Yeah.
on the screen. Love
Yep.
it. How much like do you are you messing with a lot of the analog gear like a Moog or something like that, and then sort of kind of reintroducing it in recording, or are you actually like
What
are you trying to do more analog versus digital? Is it a balance of the both when you're
it,
creating?
it's a balance. As you can see right here, I got a Moog and a Prophet. I tend to stay in the box a lot because there's a lot of great virtual instruments that I'm using, but I found when you add an analog synth into a very digital song, it really just brings the mix out, like
Mm.
because when you're just working with all digital stuff, it doesn't have that I don't know, like that analog feel to it.
I think it's a lot of like the warmth of it. It's kind of like
Mhm.
preamps and how certain preamps give a warmth, like a Neve warmth to it. Like,
Exactly, and then I'll pull this right here. This is my whole preamp section.
oh wow,
I've got a lot of grade A APIs, Chandler,
nice distressor.
distressor. Got a Neve pre right here that a buddy built for me. Yeah, just really distressors are my jam. those work really well on just about anything too.
Well,
Pretty
we've
much.
been talking about the song and talking about the song. Gio has a question.
Oh,
but
sure.
Before we go to Gio's question, we're going to listen to the song that we've been
Cool.
talking about so much. Because some people might not have heard it that are here. So
Sure.
let them listen, and then we'll come back and talk more about your music.
Sounds
I love
good.
this. This is another format of the podcast. We don't usually get technical, but I mean, go ahead, have fun, guys.
Sure, sure. Nice.
There you go. Good job. Uh,
uh,
whoever just jumped in, hi. It's the NYXUS podcast tonight. We have MJ from Moonlight Mushroom. I am a sicky poo tonight. I am not feeling good. So instead of canceling, I brought in Rob Volkoff to co-host.
So
Rob, go
Chris,
go ahead, do your thing.
so I think Chris and Armani both came in. A couple things that, couple comments. I think one of the things is that I think Sarah mentioned that wondering where all the talent went to.
uh, yeah.
It's so
You,
awesome.
it's a great video. They didn't really capture the mix that well in that video, but it is what it is.
I mean, I would imagine that something like that, because of how many frequencies a live sound has to control, like the best way to get
Yeah.
something like that would be like a board mix kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah, the highs in that are really like ear piercing, but
I
it is
mean,
fun.
I love that the other guys are just like getting into it too. It's like they're like DJs at the club,
Yo,
like they're kind of like they know when the part's about to come, and they're like, boom, it's here, and they're like,
yo,
yeah. I saw one of the guys smiling too. I was like, he's into it. I like that.
yo,
That's super
yo.
cool. I guess I wanted to ask about that, like with those two guys. You said that you sort of write the music, and then they kind of control everything while you play the drums.
Yo.
Do they contribute as well to like the layers?
So we're getting to that because when I first met them, I was on my way, pretty much almost finishing the album, and even though like the album took a couple more years to finish, but yeah, they threw down some. I know Sean threw down some synth in the recording, but when he's playing it live, he plays a different part. I basically let him do whatever he wants on stage as long as it works. And then, but moving forward, I want to get Nikki and Sean more involved in writing music together. We did write a song called Retro Shinobi that's on the album. That one is actually going to be featured in some kind of video game on Steam.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's coming out. So we wrote that together. Very retro.
Sloppy Joe Studio.
Sloppy. I'm not sure.
Is that?
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
it's an inside joke. Yeah, my buddies love to call me Sloppy Scavia or something. I don't know.
no. I'm talking about the indie game on Steam.
Oh,
I mean,
funny.
that's a studio that's doing indie games that are like kind of bringing people in.
I'm not sure. We played at a video game convention and got introduced to these guys that were working on a video game that was originally going to be a app video game on a phone.
Okay,
But then they realized that they're actually going to put it out on Steam now. So
nice, very nice.
don't know the name of it quite. I think it's something around Shinobi. It's a side scroller, like slasher kind of Metroidvania kind of thing,
Very cool.
Yeah.
Gio had a question for you.
Sure.
So in the process, it's more about the journey than the final draft. I can't
Yes.
see it being easy to ever say, nah, this won't work. The
Ye-
archive
that's-
of test tracks must be huge.
That's why this album I put out was a very experimental album. I would come home after a long day and just throw tracks at it, wake up the next day and be like, this is either it was great or it was awful. Lots and lots of layers. We're talking, multiple guitar layers, multiple synths, drum machines, stuff like that. But yeah, it was the journey. I never thought the album would end. I thought it was, I thought I was cursed. Like it was just a project that was never ending, but I finally was able to bring it together and make it work. And yeah, it sounds great.
Was it more of an issue of like you were getting, because you're like you're really, again, you're experimenting, so you're trying one thing and maybe this, this is going to be super lame in terms, like let's just say this synth, it could be an organ or it could be or choir, and you're mixing two of them, and it's like, oh, that you could do something like this. So basically, was it one of those things that you could keep on going and going and going and going, and then you have like 144 tracks, or was it a matter,
Exactly.
or was it like option paralysis?
It was a little bit of both. Some nights, I live in a condo, so I can't mix in here after 9 p.m. It's just too loud. So a lot of times I'd put my headphones on and start mixing with my headphones, and sometimes it would work, and most of the time I'd really mess the mix up. So like the mixes sounded great years before that, and I had to like find a way to bring the mix back to the original after just dinking with it so much, and that's why the album took so long to finish.
I would imagine with so many different frequencies, you're starting to phase out so much, and then like that's why you're probably having a hard time hearing them at headphones because it's like, you know, at least in the rock and metal genre, sometimes I'll hear like little things that's like spatial. It's like
Yep.
if you place them perfectly with a spectrum analyzer or something, be like, okay, this is, you could feel it moving here with some sort of synth, like a low synth or
Yep.
something like.
And I got really experimental with mixing as far as panning automation. I would take a widener and widen it even more on some parts, but I found out when you do that, you like wherever somebody's listening to it, they're not going to hear, you know, a lot of the stuff that I mixed. And
Yeah.
so I tend to try to stay away from the widening plugin these days because I don't want people to miss out, you know.
I can totally get with that. And I can imagine how that can just be like, it's almost like you're trying to organize a room and you put one thing way over here, one thing way over there. And it's like when you need everything to kind of come back a little bit, it's like, oh, it's so far.
Yep. And at the end of the day, I wish I could have done a couple things differently with a couple songs in the mixes, but I was at a point where, you know, the hardest thing about being a producer is saying it's done, you know, and just moving forward. And so I'm happy with the mixes, but there's definitely some things I wish I would have done differently.
Recreate live.
Yeah, I definitely could. I could do. Yeah, I was thinking about maybe doing some remixes, you know, stuff like that.
I think that's really cool sometimes as some, you know, I will like write something and replace something. And then it's like, when you think about that in translation between like, there's some people and that choose to just create music in their space. Like this is their sanctuary. That's how they want to, and they want to feel it and experience in that space. And then there's some of those that take, I'm writing something for the hopes of taking it on the stage, and like whatever you may have missed in the, I guess, the vacuum of it all, you can like give it new life on stage and be like, well, you know, this is just, I'm giving you little taste what's printed, and then enough for you to say, come see us live. And it's like, ooh, that's something special. Like there's something new that I didn't like. I like it more, or I know it makes people want to go back and hear the song again. Like, did he do that live? Like that little shaker, or I don't know. I'm just making up stuff.
No, you're right on. You're 100% right. And it's why I don't have live drums on a lot of my recordings.
Oh, okay.
Because I want them to come and experience it live instead of just listening to it on the headphones or in the car or something, you know.
I have a question later about that though.
Sure. Definitely. But yeah, you were spot on with that.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah. So
Why later, Rob? Go ahead. Take it.
No, I didn't want to talk. I'm a talker, and you're like, this is my zone. I either work or I do music. I don't do anything else. I don't have.
Sure.
And I probably should do more, like play a video game or watch more movies. I'd probably be more inspired. But I guess one of the things I want to kind of get away from the tech talk, so to speak, and more like the behind the person creatively. Now, the drum thing, I will say, I find that very interesting because it's like, when you mentioned Danny Carey, which I love Tool, I'm sure there's opinions, but I love how he thinks musical. Like when there's a musical drummer, and when like it's a difference between keeping the metronome and keeping the beat, and like, oh wait, he's got, you know, accents and cymbals that give it a feel. It's like where you're creating notes, and because I could hear with that song that you have just, you're staying in the pocket, but you're trying to accent things.
Yep.
To make sure, like, hey, when you actually drop in, which to me, it's like this is a rock metal track to me.
Yeah.
Like when it hits, it's like, oh, okay. Because I don't know if you saw, I was just listening to it again. I was like, oh, it hits. Like you dropped it down when one of my favorite songs is the Pot from Tool.
Yep.
And you hear like it when it kicks in. And it's, you know, when he and then he finally comes in, he's kind of playing around with what the other instruments are doing.
Yep.
And I could hear like you're carrying it, but you're also like, for you not wanting to do live drums on it, like what is your inspiration to doing it live then? Like is it restricting where you're like, I can only do so much on program drums and then
Yeah.
like because
It's
go
it's
ahead.
basically I have a hard time. I don't have the budget to get into real big studios
Mhm.
and bring my 7 piece and like lay it down. I just don't have the time and money for it. I try to do it with my electronic set right here, but electronic drums just don't hit the same.
Mm-mm.
I connect it to Superior Drummer 3,
Nice.
and still like I wish it I don't know, we're getting a little techie, but I wish I
Mhm.
had more control in Pro Tools.
Right.
I wish it worked a little differently. But no, as you were saying, so my dry assist, you didn't usually I'm doing a lot of tom work like Danny Carey. And
Mhm.
I kind of didn't I don't do that a lot on my dry assist, but on a lot of other songs you'll hear me playing a lot of tribal kind of stuff over the electronic music.
That's interesting because wouldn't okay, I'm gonna get this is my last tech thing, or at least
Sure.
I'm gonna try to like creatively, wouldn't that be like so much of like your toms are very mid, boom, 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 boom,
Hmm.
right? Like unless you're like doing something like tribal or something, um, wouldn't that take so much room if like because there are low like well, like with dry assist, you have a lot of
Yep.
like those like low raises, like
Hmm.
when the boom, 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 like this is so articulate.
No, I know what you're
And
saying.
like the like what makes you want to go do it? Is that why you didn't do toms for that song? Because you don't want sort of the
Yeah.
conflicting
Yeah,
mindset there?
there's just not a lot of filler parts,
Mm.
fills to do the kinda, like, tom work in that song particularly. That song's very a hi-hat, snare, ride kinda song.
Yeah,
Uh,
makes sense. So you definitely a lot of hi-hat, like, I love the when you hear, like,
yeah, yep,
you're
I
like,
d
you're doing, like, 127 then 80 or
mhm.
something. You for those who know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I do a lot of, like I don't know technical terms a lot with drum because I taught myself everything.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I've never gotten taught to play any instrument. I've kinda just play by ear.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I guess just you mentioned moving forward. I'm going to try to get in more of the creative aspect to
Mhm.
it. Is it one of those things that like you being that this project's very experimental in the nature and just how you sample everything? Are you hoping to bring the other people to have more of an experience, like almost like a jam or something? Because I think one of the comments earlier was kind of like, Gio was like, I see that track specifically being an improv playground, but live. And made me think, imagine if you just we're gonna jam for 8 hours or something. If who has 8 hours free, but 8 hours and just like be in the moment, and the atmosphere of messing around with the different samples together.
That's kinda like the whole album, it is it's a journey. It's you could say it's a psychedelic trip. It's very lots of different emotions, and you can kinda hear it that I wrote songs at different times in my life, and it really just all it brings you on this journey if you listen to the album from front to back. And it's yeah, just like what Gio's saying right here. It's a story, it's an emotion. It's hard to get the story if you just pick and choose songs to listen through in the album. But if you listen to it from front to back, you're really like, oh, wow, okay, I kind of get it. Um, that's why I named it Dreaming Lucid. I don't know. It's a dream. It's a very lucid dream.
I guess it's one of those things that everyone needs to experience the album as a whole.
Exactly.
What's up,
Exactly.
Lala? Absolutely. I was just about to interrupt the guys before they start talking techie again and say welcome to anybody that has not heard. We are here tonight live with MJ from Moonlit Mushroom. Really not what we usually have on the podcast. And the podcast is open to every genre, every kind of music, but we usually have a lot of metal, a lot of and then I heard you guys and I was like, whoa, this is refreshing. This is no No diss on any of my metal people, obviously. I love you guys, but it is refreshing to have something different.
Cool.
Lala. Anger Overdose says Death Polka.
Nice.
Lala
Nice.
says love the name.
Awesome.
I have the song Filler
Yeah.
right now. Oh, also Rob Volkov, from Renewing Music Studio, that is here to co-host to do most of the talking tonight because my voice is not up to it. We got Filler, so the song is not live. This is the recording, right?
Right. Right.
Perfect. What's up, Robert? All right. So what's the song about? What is Filler about? Like, what's the when you wrote the music? Like, what's the
When I wrote it, I'm trying to remember. It was the last song I wrote for the album. I needed a filler track, something to an in-betweener, and that's why I named it Filler.
I love that.
Um, but I was mostly inspired by, I made a sample and it reminded me of Silent Hill and the music that follows with it,
Yep.
the video game. And I just went with it and started creating, and yeah, I ended up really digging it.
Love it. All right, let's take. Well, it's 2 minutes long, so don't go too far if you have to take a potty break, because we'll be right back.
Awesome. Love that track. So
You
yeah,
can
there's
definitely hear it.
yeah,
Definitely.
and I kept it, as you can see, I kept it, that was towards the end of the album. I kept it simple, but it really comes out live. I'm doing a lot of tom work. So when yeah, because it's basically just a loop, lots of loops keep going over and over, but lots of do 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 do, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
How many layers do you got in that one?
Let's see here. We got the kick and the snare. We got the kind of cymbal thing. We got that analog bass sound. That sample that sounds like Silent Hill, and then the pad, synth pad. So
Mm.
not many. Very
Yeah, so it's not too bad. Picking
yeah,
up on some Tron vibes on this one.
definitely some.
Transport shops, landscape views.
I want to say Daft Punk is also a very big influence. I always thought Moonlit Mushrooms sounded like Daft Punk had a baby with 9 Inch Nails,
I can see
and
that.
and then Crystal Castles might be delivering the baby. I don't know.
That's really cool. I like that. I'm glad I picked up on the 9 Inch Nails, which is kind of, I think it's more or less obvious, but like,
Mhm.
I do appreciate when there are different artists. Like, I'm very curious for you because like you've learned everything, you're self-taught, you create the music for the most part, and then obviously now you're collaborating more. Like, what is it about what you're creating speaks to you?
Oh, if I get goosebumps on my arms when I'm creating, it means I'm going in the right direction. Like, if something really just feels good when I'm hearing it, I'm all about if it makes you feel good, then I'm on the right track. You know.
I find it always interesting because it's like, so like, again, it's so easy for artists to kind of get pigeonholed because we're doing this sound or this sort of genre, subgenre, or whatever, and it's like, it's almost like you live and breathe the very thing you do. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's so hard to find the outside influences to sort of like give you your extra spice and marinade and flavors. So it's
Yep.
like finding this music of your body is what I call it. Like what's your body creating? Not something like manufactured, but like how did this style, like what you're doing with Moonlit Mushroom, how did you birth that? Like
Yeah.
where does that come from you?
Gosh, that's a good question. It just, I guess it came naturally. Like it's almost like it's in my blood. Like
That's cool.
everything I lay down, it comes from the heart and soul. If it's feeling like it's not coming from the heart and soul, I don't want to put it out. I don't want to keep working on it.
Does this kind of music like have, we talk about scenes and like I'm sure like do you have a scene that kind of promotes this kind of music where you are?
It's that's a good question. Not really. No, it's really hard to like figure out, genres, and we'll play with about anybody. We've played with hip hop acts, metal acts, pop acts. We try to just get anywhere we can because there is no genre for Moonlit Mushroom really. Like, people could say it's industrial, electronic, rock, synthwave. There's so many, genres. I might as well make up my own genre and call it that.
Maybe we should just petition for like a Dream Theater contortionist
Yeah,
Moonlit Mushroom tour.
yeah,
That would be amazing.
that would be awesome. That would be great. Yeah, I'd love to go on tour. I'm always trying to network and find somebody that believes in my project and wants to sign me up and just throw me on the road. But
This
until
would
that, until
this
the
would be,
opportunity happens. But
I feel like you're the kind of project that like different when different genres are doing what they do, they'll find your project, be like, this is what we listen to on the bus. This is what we listen to. Like, yeah, I listen to a lot of bands that are into like Warning and 40 Watt Sun and
mm,
it's different, or Pelican or Depeche Mode. And it's
yeah,
like, it's interesting when you hear about these different artists that are like, we need to listen to this. This is what inspires us to do this. Like, we don't care about metal. Just play it. But then this
mm,
is the stuff that like this is the stuff they get excited about. This is the stuff it's like I was watching a band, Electric Callboy from Germany, and they're like, they listen to like techno, like legit like R&B, oh no, DMB and like house, like extreme techno music to get ready before they go play metalcore.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like
It's funny. We've played with a lot of different styles of bands, and every time we've performed, people were like, "Wow, wasn't expecting that opener. Like, you guys rock. Like, I want to be your next big fan." And that's like the best thing I can hear as a musician.
that's amazing because
Yeah,
like, and I think it translates, like you said, like this is what's coming from your soul, and like anyone that's an artist definitely could take like a pointer and two from you for that, because it's like it's so easy to get caught up with like what seems popular, what's around us, and the fact that you've chosen to follow your North Star as an artist to,
yeah,
without being, because I would imagine up that area, like I don't know too many bands up in like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Montana. I know one or two, but I know, and the people that I've talked to, even like North Dakota, South Dakota, they're like, there really isn't a scene. It's hard they have to get out. They have to go to the coasts basically,
yeah,
so but it's like, if you write a music that you make that's natural to you, it'll translate no matter what genre, because it's like you're writing from your body.
yeah,
And that's the thing, like that's, then I'm glad that Melanie found you, so people can like really, this is the kind of music that people are going to pull on and be like, yeah, I need to hear the whole album. I can't just I can't hear this on the radio. I need to drive and like ponder my life.
Yeah, it's a great album. I'm a fan of listening to it on headphones. It really puts you in this headspace. If you close your eyes, you almost feel like you're in I don't know, like a
Where
big.
can we get the album?
You can order it directly from me, but it's streaming on Spotify.
But if we want the hard copy, like
Yeah, if you want
a
one of these
CD,
hard
yes.
copies, I mean, I'd love to actually just send you to a copy, honestly, for doing this show for me. So
That would be amazing.
yeah.
So I
But
definitely.
where can people get it? Like if somebody right now wants to pick one up.
I
Where do we
actually,
go?
I believe our website, moonlightmushroomband.com.
Nice.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So definitely. Do you have anything else up there? Shirts or anything like that?
Yeah, we got some shirts. We got some cool shirts. I think we're running low on posters. Made a poster of the album cover. I gotta check my merch inventory. We're playing. I have this album release show this Friday,
Okay.
so we're gonna see where all that merch goes after that.
And where is that? I mean, I know it looks like Gio's kind of on top of it. He's like, "Bring me one when you tour Wisconsin."
Yeah. I'll be playing at the Red Sea in Minneapolis on Friday.
Okay.
So as you can see, there's a few of my shirts. Did some art, like single art pieces too. Yeah, I got some awesome merch.
Yeah, I'll definitely check out. I'll definitely check out. Just grab and you don't have to send me one. I'll buy one with a shirt. I could wear the shirt. So
Yeah, for sure.
So I'll definitely get into it. Now, did you say you like created the artwork?
Not all this. Nope. I found people that
Okay.
could really vision what I was looking for. I created that the artwork that's on canvas.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I did that, but I kind of yeah.
Yeah, look at that stuff. That's really nice. Now, I guess I want to ask you because like this is an instrumental project, more or less, right? It's like there's no vocals per se.
I do sing on. Let's see here. Two songs on the album I'm singing.
Oh, nice.
And then I got a buddy that came in. We wrote a song together. He's singing on the album as well.
Awesome.
So
and like a lot of bands, as the traditional sense, have the singer, bassist, guitars, or whatever, or synth and things like that. Now, obviously, you have a vision. Like for anyone that's watching this, like you can see through what Melanie is gracefully showing us all the artwork, all the different things, the music, the ideas. You have a vision for your music.
Yes.
A lot of people just create music. I'm one of them. I just create like, oh, I want to put a song out. Here's a song. You have a vision for what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, where does that come from? Like, what is the vision of Moonlit Mushroom?
The vision is basically I'm trying to create something that everybody could get down with. So like, say somebody's very genre specific. I want to push through that boundary and be like, well, hey, check this out. Maybe this will, be something that you're into. And so far it's working.
Yeah,
totally. I saw a couple comments on here earlier. People were like, I love this. And I'm like, that's awesome. I'm really glad.
It's really awesome. Like a rave, slow, and reverb. Like it's interesting you say that because Lana said that because like I used to listen to State of Trance, Aaron Van Buren, years ago. So good. Okay, so and they do. And you could hear like the movements that they have in the music, and like I can only imagine creating music where like you sort of have to treat it like a live mix in a way. Like, okay, this is the sound.
I got to go see Daft Punk live.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm jealous.
That is just, it blew my mind. My little brother was like, I want to go see Daft Punk. Nobody wants to come with me. And I was like, I'll go with you. And we were like really close to the speakers. Let me tell you, I didn't hear. I couldn't hear nothing. The way I'm talking now was about how I could talk also for like a week after the show. It was insane.
I could only wish that they would tour again. I didn't get to experience them.
When they did the pyramid? when they did
Yeah.
the show with the pyramid. They
Oh,
were on
okay.
top of the pyramid.
Oh,
That's
wow.
the one that I got to see.
Juan said, "Super cool, true art from the heart."
Definitely. Definitely.
What's up, Juan?
How you doing? How you doing?
Eargasm earplugs, non-sponsored.
Yes, those actually work great.
Yeah, they do.
I try to remember to bring them to every show I go to, because obviously if I ruin my ears, I won't be able to mix all those.
Yeah, definitely. Like, do you have friends that create music, whether it be online or in person, that you like, even not to collaborate, but also like, oh, this my friend's doing this, I'm really into it.
Oh, there's so many artists doing so many cool things right now. Lots of friends. I got a lot of DJ friends that are just killing it in the scene. They're playing bigger shows, bigger and bigger. Everyone's keeping really busy with what they do, and I'd love to collaborate more with more people, but it gets overwhelming when everyone's like, let's collab, let's collab, let's collab. It's like let's figure out a plan first, and then like because
Yeah.
I would love to collab with everybody, but really I need to collab with my actual bandmates because they
Mhm.
didn't get the chance to get involved with this album as much. And moving forward, I want to make sure that they're getting a piece of that fun.
Yeah, I do want to ask now that just real quick about the bandmates, and hopefully maybe we can do a part two at some time in the future and get their thoughts with a new project or something.
Yeah, that'd be
I'm
great.
sure Melanie would love to have you back, obviously. But
Absolutely.
my thoughts with them is like with them two, you've worked a little bit with them, you play with them live.
Mhm.
Could you speak at least a little bit to what they're influenced by? Just a little bit. Not speak
Ye-
for them, but like you gotta know a little.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Nikki, he's a DJ outside of DJing for Moonlit Mushroom. He spins at a lot of clubs and a lot of gosh, what else does he do? I'm trying to think. Sorry, brain fart. But
Oh no.
moving on to Sean. Sean's very influenced by like Depeche Mode. He's into
Okay.
goth rock, synthwave. It's an awesome like pair to work with those two.
I'm starting to like, for me, that's been stuck in the rock and metal genre. It's every once in a while I'll find somebody that's like they have a side project. Like it's a band called Dayseeker. Then the vocalist does something called Hurtwave, which is more like 80s synthwave. And it's like, ooh, he's fusing. Like that band Dayseeker was like a metalcore act. Now they're like synthwave pop
Yeah,
with a
yeah,
little bit of the heavy stuff. It's like you could hear all the ridiculous amounts of layers, and it's like how much they're bringing a lot of that element into like how they create. It's like I would be super stoked, whenever you're, free to do something like have something that you've transposed and composed yourself into it and see like inject a little bit of metal and see how it sounds like.
I would be absolutely down for that.
Because that's something like I've been so experimental with like it's so easy for me to be like I need to write all the drums and guitar and bass instead of
Mhm.
like take a genre or take a style and then maybe just infuse like let's like because like the song the video the first video we saw like
Mhm.
I was thinking about when you have those drops and then you go straight on it kind of thing
Yep.
like it's like oh man you could have like a thick bass boom, 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 like
Yep.
bass groove inside of it, and it wouldn't be offensive. It would just be like it's giving it a little bit of a punch.
Yep. And what I've been wanting to do in the future is find, it would be great to find a bassist and a guitarist to join us on stage.
Oh wow.
Uh, it's just a lot of work to try and, get things to work out. But yeah, I often hear, like I'll listen to the tracks that I put out and I'm like, yeah, I can definitely hear guitar over this or, more metal guitar, so yeah, you're right on the ball with that.
Because I think like those kind of projects, like you guys would be so fluid to be able to go. Maybe we play a certain kind of festival that's more electronic or club, but then maybe take it to like a rock festival where they don't have a lot of it, but it's like we can just inject a little bit on the heavier side, and it's like it's almost like you could trick someone to be like they're a metalhead, but they're like, wait, this is heavy. Wait. there's electronic stuff. Like, what is that?
Yeah, exactly. And we've done that. We've done that at shows. We've played with Metal X, and even those guys were like, "I loved your stuff," and you
Yeah.
really brought this different vibe to the stage. That we recently played at Crypticon.
Okay.
It's like a horror sci-fi movie con.
Okay.
We played with a band called First Jason, and the band is named that because the lead singer of the band, he was the kid popping out of Friday the 13th in the water.
Oh wow.
He was the one that filmed in the movie, and all his stuff was a lot more rock and rock stuff. But he was telling me like, "Wow, you guys really brought a different vibe to the Crypticon this year," and I was like, "Hey." It made sense because very influenced by sci-fi and horror movies. So why not have us?
I guess it's just now a matter of like, and I don't know if you have representation or anything like that, but I would imagine like getting some PR or a manager to be like, maybe you're not the traditional stage club like what a lot of the rock and punk and industrial will do. Maybe you need to go to these like Comic Cons and different things like that, or different like premieres where you play music. I can imagine you being playing at like a horror film premiere.
Sure.
Amazing. Like I was in very obviously everybody knows who Hans Zimmer is.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
like I was listening to a podcast where it was they basically did the Inception. So when the movie was playing silent, like, but the whole orchestra was on a click. And imagine like there's a
Oh,
movie. So it's like the music is live. It's like, oh wait, a whole band is going on, but you think you're just watching the movie.
that's so cool.
And it's like, imagine if you could do something like that, like something creative, like you created music for a movie or like, those independent films or something like that, where you can like create that music for an independent film. And then you're actually at the premiere of those, like Sundance or something.
It's actually my dream to make a score for a film. And it's crazy because that's what Trent Reznor's doing now too.
Really?
Yeah, he's making music for a lot of films that came out recently, and I was like, wow, not only is he an inspiration, but he's stealing my ideas that I really.
Well,
But
maybe you're next. That's what it
no,
is. Like he got you started on the path in a way, and now like, hey, if he's doing it, you're next in line, man.
yeah. So I'd love to meet the right people to network with and do a project like that. That would be amazing.
That would be really cool. That's just another way to like, it's not only just like a creative expression doing something differently, but also another way to expand your fan base to where it's not just music listeners. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm a film buff. I'm in the independent film circuit, and I heard this music that's perfect to what I love.
Hmm. Yep, exactly. So yeah, we're trying. Sarah, that keeps commenting. She's my partner, but she also manages Moonlit Mushroom for me.
Awesome.
She does a very great job, but we're always trying to meet and talk to the right people, whether it's a festival, a show, or all these cons. We've been trying to play at more cons too. Just anywhere we can get our foot in the door, we're there.
Awesome. I want to quickly shout out my friend Zach, because as I mentioned earlier about Eric Von Buren, he's the one who kind of got me into them.
Oh, cool.
So it's like, Zach, you need to listen to Moonlight Mushroom because this is right up your alley.
Awesome.
So definitely. I'm trying to see. So Sarah, like, hopefully these ideas help out. Maybe, I don't really know I know a couple people in film I could ask.
Definitely.
I have a friend of mine that, it's funny enough, he used to be in a metal band, and his piano player used to like do vocals, but also like create all kinds of score-esque style music.
Hmm.
And I think he's now the bass player who started the band is now like doing short films.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he's trying to like get into like getting people to create scores for him. So might be someone I'm going to reach out to. And I've known him since high school.
That'd be really cool. I'd be super down with it. I'm really good at just looking at something, getting a feel, and then creating the tunes for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good, Zach. You should totally do it. And again, just if you don't mind, for my friend Zach, tell us
Sure.
where he can check you out.
You can hear all my music on Spotify, Apple Music, pretty much any available streaming service right now. You can order the album directly on my website. Album came out great. There's something about CDs, just they sound so good on it, you know, like
Imagine if you did this on a vinyl. I know it's expensive, but can you imagine the sonics on a vinyl for something like this?
I really wanted to print vinyl for this album, but I was a minute over. Like, you know how you can only hold so much music on each side? I didn't want them to compress and compromise the mixes. So I decided not to print it on vinyl.
Look, Gio said that, you know, he's a video game bad guy voice, so he's constantly networking. Maybe I'll collab, create a score, and he's doing voiceover with your music in the background.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, we just got done playing at VGM Con last year. They loved us. I hope I'm invited again. We're trying to get into MagFest. That's another big video game con. Yeah, because our music just fits. It works.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely does, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just to situate everybody, we have about another 20 minutes to go for the interview.
Sure, definitely.
Of
At
course.
the end of the interview, I will hit you with the NYXUS question, because we close every interview with that question.
Okay.
It's a question that is dear to me, so it
Sure.
just became the NYXUS question.
Cool.
That's awesome.
I dig it.
And just to refresh everybody on the website, it is www.moonlit
Moonlit.com. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Absolutely.
I'll be checking it out as soon as I get off, because I saw a shirt that I was like, I kind of want to get that now.
Cool. Which one was it? I hope I still have the size for you.
I wear largest. I hope.
Okay.
I mean, that might be the most common one. You know, I'm going to pull it up right now, because then that
Sure.
way everybody knows I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It's so hard to keep up. I mean, I have a Bandcamp, and like, it's like, oh wait, I have a Bandcamp. I just remembered a week ago I have a Bandcamp, and
Yeah.
it's like,
I have all my stuff on Bandcamp, but I don't use that website as much. I know it's a great platform for independent artists, but
It was just sold. I was told. So
Okay.
we shall see what happens.
it's just really hard these days to get somebody to click on something and actually check it out. But when you
Yeah.
have multiple different platforms, it's good, but I like to try and stick to one or two, you know. And I guess mainly I've been pushing people on the Spotify stuff. But yeah, if they want to go listen to it on Bandcamp, they can as well, you know.
do you have your stuff set up on Bandcamp to where, not Bandcamp, Spotify, to where people could probably buy merch from?
I have not set that up yet, but I saw the option. I just haven't had time to sit down and really dive into it.
The Moonlit Mushroom Tie-Dye t-shirt is the one that I'm really interested in.
Okay. I think I might have. We'll see. I might have a large left. The guy that made those tie-dyes did an awesome job.
Yeah, it looks. When I first saw that, when Melanie scrolled, I was like, "Whoa, let me get that."
Yeah, yep.
I'll probably have to tip you or something too, because I know that's not cheap.
You know, they're a little more expensive. They're $35, but no tip needed. The guy that made them did a wonderful job, and we took care of each other, you know. But I'm gonna do another run of those shirts because they came out so good. So if I don't have any right now, which I hope I do, I know I have a couple, but I'm not sure if they're medium or large or what.
Gotcha.
But
So do me a favor. I just sent you an email through the website. Just
Okay.
hit me back if you got any large shirts. I'll grab something.
cool.
Because like if you have an XL of that too, that'd be great too. Because sometimes I get a large and like it'll shrink when I wash it.
Sure.
So, like I'd rather just get I don't want the compressed feeling.
I think those ones particularly don't shrink because of the work that was done on them. But
Okay.
I only did a run of medium and larges to see where they would go, and they actually did the merch because it was a very expensive merch item that I did for it. But it actually everyone was buying them up left and right.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do one last segment. I think do something a little different, and then Melanie can say the final thing. So that way, I know we're not tech talking anymore.
Sure.
But I really do hope anybody that's like music fan in general, not just a musician, producer, can kind of get like inspiration and like the creativeness. Because like I I listen to music podcasts all day. So it's like hearing somebody talk about their creative process, talk about like their inspiration, talk about like where they go. It's one of those things that I think we all need just a little bit of inspiration, someone here and there. And it's like, he does that and he created that, like the realm of possibility, you know?
You're right.
So we're going to do it a little, for me, at least for me, a little bit fun for a moment. So hopefully this is not uncomfortable because obviously I didn't tell you this.
Sure.
I need to get a new microphone stand. I'm sorry that I'm constantly like,
Oh, you're good.
these SM7Bs are kind of heavy.
Oh, I love the mic. Yeah.
Me too. I just found out about this website that has like this encapsulation dome on it where you can.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll send you a link if you find me. Like I'm gonna try it out. I have an AKG C414 with clean vocals,
me
and
too.
I do the metalcore vocals, so I use this most of the time.
My favorite vocal mic right now is the U47. But buddy of mine built it for me and for half off, and it's that with the Neve and the distressor. Awesome.
This is not.
Sorry.
Okay, let's get away from that. Part
Cool.
2. I have no like script on this. This is just coming off, so it's not like I'm planned to talk. It's just this is where we're going. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit fun, and maybe this will give you an insight on the brain of like your musical inspirations or bands. And it's called just a dream festival, a dream show. Now, I'm going to make this simple. 6 bands, artists, groups, whatever. Name me a venue you've heard of or your favorite place you've ever played on a Saturday night. And you're going to be right in the middle, like 3. You could be either 3 or 4. Like you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Cool.
Give me 2 people, whether they could be like co-headliner that are your favorite artists or the people that you're most inspired by. You could be like almost like co-headlining 3 or 4 spot with someone else, and then 2 people you want to shout out that are like your favorite friends or the artists that you really love the most.
Cool. All right, headliners. I'm gonna pick one of my favorite new venues is the Amsterdam in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Okay.
Awesome venue. If they were headlining, I would say the band Air and Tool. I think that would be a kind of a weird mix, but it would be sweet. And then I would want to get some local acts in. I'm thinking one of my good friends, local band here, Twin Citizen.
I want to write this down just so I can check them out later.
Sure.
So in the place, I mean, the venue is not important because would be cool to know. But Amsterdam
sure.
and the Amsterdam in where you're at, St. Paul, like I can imagine just the idea of Amsterdam, that'd be a perfect venue.
Yeah.
So how many people can fit this?
I think it's got either it's 300 or 500. I can't remember.
Oh, so this would be personal.
Yeah, I think it's a 300 or gosh, I don't know. It's hard to say how many bodies can actually fit in a venue, but
oh man, that would be put Tool at a 300.
Right. Wouldn't that be insane?
Tickets have to be $1,000 just to be exclusive. Like this would be the most exclusive show that'll ever happen in St. Paul.
But
Air, right?
Air. I'm not gonna lie. I've been to hundreds of shows. Air is still might have been one of the best shows I've been to. They just really brought it, and it sounded better than their recordings. I can't say that much about a lot of stuff I've checked out.
And just spelling air like breathe air or spell differently?
Breathe air. Yeah.
Like air. Okay. I'm going to make sure. I just want to make sure because I want to check out, like, I'm always trying to find new artists. And I also want to be creative with it because.
True.
Oh, it's 600 according to Geos. 600. Okay.
600. Okay.
So $500 tickets.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm going to put you as number 4 of 6. So let's say, what is a band or artist of your equal size that you want to put on the show?
Twin Citizen is they got a couple more musicians, but I'd love to get them on there too. That would be awesome. They're just a really great band that we've been playing with here in the cities. Kind of like indie rock style, like Pink Floyd meets Gosh, I don't even know. You just got to check them out, I guess. Who else though? What I would want to get in on this show? I saw a musician at VGM Con, the video game con. He goes by Watch Out for Snakes is the band name, and it sounds like Nintendo music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like 8-bit, kind of style, but it rocks. I bought all his vinyls when I met him, and
That's
they
awesome.
they sound so great. It's
Watch out for snakes. That's interesting because I have a friend of mine that he was a drummer of my first band, and he creates now like on a Game Boy Nintendo music, like 8-bit music. So
yep.
there is a huge. And Gio mentioned you need to look up Vonic 2, Vonic 2.
Okay.
And Sarah already shouted out Twin Citizens, so y'all already
Vunic 2.
Vunic
Okay.
2. Vunic.
Let me write that
Vunic.
here. I'm gonna take a picture real quick so I don't forget about it.
Vunic 2, people. I'm gonna put that on my list too. Vunic 2.
Thank you. I'm always looking for new stuff to listen to. I find it even hard for myself to dive into a lot of new stuff these days because it's overwhelming with how much is out there.
All right, thank you, Gio. Vunic 2.
Vunic 2, cool.
Appreciate it. So we're gonna put Watch Out for Snakes and one more. Let's get one more, and then
one more. Let's get my other buddy. He goes by North Innsbruck. He plays like dark synthwave style. He's up there just like Snakes. Watch Out for Snakes. They play on a guitar.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. So in the future, minute 14, an hour 14, hour 15, when we're talking about bands to check out. So
yes,
that helps everybody kind of come back later. We'll probably timestamp that or something. I will at least, because I think everyone needs to try out some new bands, because it's like it's great to talk about what you do, but then when you hear everybody that inspires you, that's like that it's you kind of starting to see the culture.
Exactly.
And being that, like Melanie mentioned, like most what's on here is rock and metal. It's like one of those things that we need to like try our best to lift everybody up that we can.
Yes.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, collabs, like there's, a metal band recently collabed with a big hip hop artist, and like that's making waves because you're blending the two things.
Exactly.
And all these different, I mean, you have to think about like industrial is always trying to like collab with rock and metal and hip hop because it's like they fuse so well.
Yep. And I agree with that. I think it's fun to get people out of their norm and maybe they make it uncomfortable for them. I don't know, like get it so they're not used to just what they're always listening to. Try something new,
Electric Tardigrade. I'm gonna mess up name. I'm sorry. And North Innsbruck. Thank you, Sarah, coming in clutch with everything. She shouted out Twin Citizen, and that's awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I hope that wasn't so uncomfortable trying to figure this stuff out.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all.
So this gives us a great idea of like what you're inspired by, who, because that's another thing about like Melanie has done an amazing job with this podcast, bringing people together.
Yeah.
Like, I just see it everywhere. I'm a friend, but I've got to see it before it started getting big, and it's one of those things that like everybody's now connecting to each other.
Definitely.
Anger Overdose earlier, like, is almost in every one of these because he's just loves the community and helps and contributes and shares music, shares up and coming other artists and themselves. So it's like,
Gio
I think
has been with us pretty much every night now for a while too.
That's awesome.
There's a bunch of other ones tonight. We're kind of like right now. Nightfall, that was here earlier, has his interview playing. So some of them are on YouTube too. It's kind of like everybody tries to catch everybody. There's enough competition everywhere in life that me and Vox and Sticks do the same thing. We do interviews. Well, Vox and Guests, should I say?
But the old saying goes, competition's at the bottom, collaboration's at the top. So let's try to get to the top.
Exactly.
I want to take a few minutes before we keep going to give a shout out to somebody that I have had the chance to work with again this weekend. I started a little, fun thing with photography, as some people know. and uh, a big thing here down here in North Carolina where I am is the pit crew. If you don't know the pit crew, any show you go to down here, you will meet the pit crew. They are amazing people, and I have had the chance to work this weekend with Danny. Amazing photographer, an amazing person. We had a blast. I love these guys. So, Pit Crew, if you're listening, shout out to you guys for always making the pit a safer place and always an awesome place to be. Before I hit you with the NYXUS podcast question, um, where can we find you again? Do you have your website, social media? Which one? Which is the one that we should follow? Because we all know that we're all on every social media, but which one is the most active one?
I'd say Facebook.
Awesome.
Facebook, Moonlight Mushroom on Facebook. And then, streaming everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music. If you don't have those, you can go to Bandcamp and listen to the album. Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Gio said the only bad indie music is no indie music. We're here for everyone, everywhere.
That's so true. That's
Absolutely.
so true.
Gio, before we go to the question, Gio, you want to message him and get into the deck of many bands. I didn't have my message open before I started, Gio. I'm sorry. In the first deck, I think I'll try to remember. 92 cards, and they're pretty big size cards, and they have a QR code to your playlist, like on Spotify or whatever you decide to put on it. And people could scan the QR code, and it sends them to you directly. So every morning, somebody could shuffle their deck and pick and it'll bring them to a broadcaster or to a musician. So message Gio if you're interested in being in his deck of cards.
That would be great. That would be great.
Rob, I want to thank you for being here tonight. I promise, MJ, I am usually very more energetic. I am just...
Oh, it's cool. I had a blast. Thank you so much. It's so great to meet you too. And you guys should definitely, if you have any social media, add me as a friend and let's keep in touch. I'd love that.
Absolutely. I will try to look for you. Rob, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. It's okay. Not all our heroes wear capes, and Melanie is one of our local scene heroes.
I thank you, Rob. I try my best. Soon enough, I will be joining you guys in the rank of having music out there when me and Rob could get together and finally finish this song.
Awesome.
Very soon.
I can't wait to hear it. That's going to be great.
I mean, now I have to wait till after I'm sick. But,
Sure.
I mean, we're almost there. Almost there.
And I would be rude to not say thank you, MJ, for sharing your time. I think this was a good conversation. I hope. I hope everyone got something out of it, and like the creativeness that comes with like when you dedicate yourself as an artist. Like some people just don't get a chance to share the creative process and where they come from, like behind the scenes a little bit. And thank you, Melanie, for allowing me to jump in last minute to just to enjoy this conversation with y'all. And NyXUS is your friend.
Gio. Yes, Gio. NyXUS is my friend. It was a great interview, guys. Rob, thank you so much again. MJ, I mean, thank you for just going with the flow and just taking Rob. Rob's an amazing co-host.
Oh, definitely.
We're the yin and the yang because we don't ask the same kind of questions. We don't.
Sure.
So it was awesome to have him with me tonight. And I'm glad it was a night where it was like a producer, and so you guys could just... I feel like the interview could have went on probably all night.
Hours.
Make sure to friend each other that way.
Yeah, Rob. So you can find me on Instagram or Facebook. Just MJ. Is there a way I could type it in the little chat thing?
Yeah, or
type it in chat, or you could go private chat even if you don't want. Yeah.
Oh, I'm all about new friends. So how do I go into this? Join the chat.
Just comments, yeah, and then
your Instagram better have pictures of your gear, or I'm not following.
It does. Here, I tried. I
I'm
tried
joking.
to join the comment track, but it looks like I gotta sign into YouTube, and I don't remember my YouTube thing. But
That's
here, I'll
You
put
could
it.
probably just do Facebook if you change.
Join the chat. Connect. Let me see if I can connect it. And
Here you go. Hold on.
oh,
I'll copy it and I will post it
cool,
for you.
cool, awesome, Geo. Thanks.
Uh, Here you go, guys. This is where you can follow.
Yep, yep.
Awesome. So before we go, MJ, I always ask the NYXUS question. Mental health is something that's very important to me. So I started asking that question, and at one point it just kind of stuck. And people that used to work on the podcast with me were like, "Oh, this should be the NYXUS question." So
Very cool.
you never know who might be listening now, later, that could need to hear whatever you're gonna tell yourself. If you had a chance to sit down with a younger version of yourself at any age, what would you tell little MJ?
I would tell them it's gonna be all right, and things will get figured out. I myself struggle with bipolar, so I'm medicated. It works, but I'm very a mental illness advocate for that. So I would tell my younger self to just let it ride, and everything's gonna be all right.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely. There's a lot of good advice that's given in that section, in that segment. It's
That's cool.
um, and we did a whole week on mental health last March.
Oh, very cool.
We will have another one in 2024. So if you want, I'll reach out to you if you're
Yeah,
comfortable in coming in.
yeah, definitely.
We usually just sit down, talk, and just see how the night goes. And
Cool.
it's usually very emotional, but
Sure. Count me in. Count me in for sure.
we heal at the end. So,
Yeah, yeah.
once again, MJ, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Guys in the comments, I mean, amazing to see you again, Gio, Sarah, good to meet you. Everybody that was here that is now not here, thank you. Sorry.
And I laughed because of Gio's comment, just for the record.
Yeah.
I would say
So I
Brussels
wasn't
sprouts
laughing
will
at
never
you.
get better.
I wasn't laughing at the mental health stuff. I was laughing at that.
That's
Oh, yeah.
great.
Oh yeah. Oh
That's
yeah.
awesome. I dig it.
I mean, that's a very good advice, also, Gio, because I
It would-
personally don't like Brussels sprouts.
Same, but it's a good way to end it on a very lighter note, I would say. On
Absolutely.
on a happy, funny, lighter
Oh
note.
yes. Oh yes.
Absolutely.
No more tech talk.
So before we go, where's the last show, and anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Where's the last show?
Well, the next show, the
next
first,
show.
yeah,
The last show of the year will be my CD release, album release show this Friday at Amsterdam, or not Amsterdam. Sorry, the Red Sea in Minneapolis. Want to give out a shout out to Nikki and Sean, that they're not here with us tonight, but they are in spirit. They're just as much of a part of this as the Moonlit Mushroom is. So, and hi Mom, hi Dad.
Gio told me now go drink tea. I'm lucky. Manda's actually making homemade soup right now for me
That
as
sounds
we're doing
great.
this. Yes, so I'm gonna go and have my soup and try to rest up.
And I gotta
Friday.
track, and I gotta track vocals. So
Nice.
Fun.
Have fun, man.
Stuff.
I'm
Friday night, 7 p.m. Join me with an interview with Susie from the Gregorio that you have met during Halloween week. Also, at 9 o'clock, we'll have the interview that I missed last week. I'll post everything up. But Friday is another big night. Rob, if I need you, I'll just see if you're available.
let me know.
Awesome. MJ, thank you again. Rob, thank you again.
Yes,
Guys,
thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, MJ, for creating music and
Yeah.
sharing your art with us.
Thanks,
Make
man.
sure you
Appreciate
give
you,
it.
them a
Melanie.
follow. Please give these two guys a follow. And I will see you guys on Friday. Good night, guys.
See you later.